Pro Trucks on the Speedway. Your starting lineup is we're about a lap and a half from going to the green flag. Brandon Head, the WP Road Supply Performance East. Horton Holmes sponsored Chevrolet will go from the pole position, the outside of the front row. Mark Howell in the 8 truck. Rollaway Security Shutters Chevrolet. Convenient glass also on board. Then the 22 Linwood Mazingo, the Benton & Son stainless steel fabrication Dodge, Wayne Skinner, Bits, Bites, and Pieces Ford. Then the 21 of Donald Fowler, the 14 Mickey Adams, 34 of David Clark, the 5 of John Jones, 23 is Will Smith, the 07 Tony Cooper, the 12 truck is the Kitty Campus Daycare of Rosewood Ford, driven by Keith Smith. Linden, North Carolina's Ricky Butler in the 7 truck, Steve Tart, the 57. Ronald Brown out of Kinston, the 24, Joe Heigl, the 15. The 9 is Scott Johnson, the 54, another Dodge in the field, Mike Ellis. The 81 is David Warren of Goldsboro, the Eastern Air Conditioning Ford. Green flag goes in the air, and we're racing 100 laps, the biggest race of the year for the Bud Pro Trucks. And immediately they shuffle around double wide, and now they're going to wave off the start. The start has been waved off. Mark Howell got a jump there on the pole sitter, Brandon Head. We did try to catch up with Brandon Head in the pre-race. However, he was busy doing some things, so we certainly apologize for not getting a word with our pole sitter on the pre-race. But a lot of the drivers in this field have been pointing the finger up at the 84 truck, saying that's the man to beat here in this long race. 100 laps is the distance. The Goldsboro Chrysler Dodge Jeep Intrepid pace car is on the Speedway. Not too many drivers have gone 100 laps in this field. Certainly Brandon Head has done so, as has John Jones among others, but we're going to try to get them lined up as they are in proper running order as we get the signal 1 to go. Green flag racing in 1 lap. We hope. We tried to get a start in. It was waved off. Mark Howell, the 8 truck, got a jump on the advantage, and that will negate the first attempted start. So side by side again. We've got Chevrolets, Fords, and Dodges represented here. Chevrolet Silverado, the Ford F-150, the Dodge Ram. Field again, taking a line on the back straightaway. Brandon Head, WP Road Supply, Horton Holmes, Performance East Chevrolet Silverado on the pole out of Goldsboro. Pace car now makes the left turn onto pit road. Here they come up off turn number 4. This time they stay side by side. Green flag goes in the air from Charlie Rizzo on top of the flag stand. And we're racing 100 laps, the biggest race of the year for the Bud Pro Trucks. Quickly on the back straightaway, Brandon Head goes door handle to door handle with Mark Howell. The yellow Dodge of Mazingo stacks up there. He has thoughts of going 3 wide on the first lap. They cross the stripe, head back to turns 1 and 2. Mazingo will fall back in line. He and Wayne Skinner are racing hard for the 3rd spot. Donald Fowler slips up into the 5th position. Up off of the corner, Mark Howell is the new race leader. Brandon Head, the pole sitter, did not get the advantage he was looking for, so Mark Howell, coming from the outside lane, will pick up the lead as they work into turns 3 and 4, coming back to the stripe. Just underway here on Pac-10 TV. I'm Alex Hayden, Bobby Parker, David Kelly, and Tim Hayden on hand to bring you this coverage of the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, and this is the Bud Pro Trucks. Good shot of Mazingo and his yellow Dodge going up underneath the Ford of Wayne Skinner. We are past the halfway point in the season for the Bud Pro Trucks. As we mentioned in the big topics in the truck series here at Southern National Speedway is the point standings. 8 points is all that separates the top 5 drivers. Brandon Head, the 84 truck, your pole sitter tonight, is the defending series champion. Has announced at the beginning of the season he would run only a limited schedule this year. Has had some success to this point. Matter of fact, tonight picked up his 2nd pole of the season. He has gone to victory lane in 1 other race that he's run in 5 starts. Of course, the trucks have run a total of 9 races to this point. Had 6 different pole sitters and 6 different winners in the 9 races. Everybody settling into a pace here in the early stages of the race. Mark Howell, Brandon Head, nose to tailgate as they exit turn 4. Mark Howell, rollaway security shutters. Is your defense against hurricanes. Convenient glass inner skate. Sound station and security of Smithfield Chevrolet up front. There's Brandon Head. He took a peek to the inside of Howell down the backstretch. You watch Linwood Mazingo lead this parade from third on back. They exit the fourth corner. One truck is off the pace and going slower. That is Steve Tart. Unfortunate break for Steve Tart. He is off the pace. Some kind of problem with his truck. That's the Bobby Murray GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. Nonetheless, the field continues to race under the green flag. You see Brandon Head putting all sorts of pressure on the back tailgate of Mark Howell. Linwood Mazingo leading that next group of trucks. Donald Fowler, Wayne Skinner, David Clark, all in that mess, as is Will Smith. Smith Auto Body, Benton's & Son stainless steel metal fabrication. Dodge of Linwood Mazingo out of Pikeville. The bright yellow Dodge Ram. Donald Fowler knocking on his back door. It's the LBJ Chevrolet Silverado. Capital City Investigations, Medlin Brothers, also on board with the 21 truck. Swing to the outside now. Scott Johnson in the 9 truck. Unsponsored machine. This is only his second race here at Southern National this season. Able to salvage a 12th place finish in his first race here. It's been a handful of weeks ago. See Steve Tart still running off the pace just a bit. Not quite sure what the problem is there. Here goes Brandon Head, and we contact with Mark Howell in turn 1. Howell will maintain the race lead. Brandon Head will slip back and ride his tire tracks once more. Just a little slip there with Mark Howell. May very well have heated up those tires. Tires a big, big issue here in this 100-lapper. Have to make your tires last. You see Wayne Skinner in the far left of the screen. David Clark in the blue truck, as we got a truck that was spinning off turn 4, was able to get behind the pit wall, was Keith Smith. Keith Smith out of the Rosewood area in the Kitty Campus Ford spun up off turn 4, but is able to let it drift down the banking right onto pit road. He is behind the wall there. As a matter of fact, they're having to push his truck. It will not refire on pit road, so tough break for Keith Smith here in the early goings. See the Eastern Air Conditioning Ford, David Warren getting put a lap down. He's a late model stock driver, making his first truck start of the season. Mark Howell still the race leader. Brandon Head riding along in the second position. Good shot of Brandon Head's WP Road Supply Horton Holmes Chevrolet. Got Performance East on board as well. Keith Smith's truck still on pit road. You get a glimpse of it down at the bottom of the screen just for a moment there. They're still trying to push that truck to get him refired. Not successful for the moment. Donald Fowler having, here in the early showing, by far his better run of the season. He was a front runner a year ago. And his rookie season in the Bud Pro trucks. This is his sophomore season, a new truck. Just now it looked like they're starting to get the bugs worked out of it. He's right in the thick of things, running in the 4th position with Wayne Skinner all over his back bumper. Good racing here in the early stages of this one. John Jones said at the opening that he thought there would be a lot of straight line racing, meaning single file action. We're certainly seeing that, but they're good, tight field here in the Bud Pro trucks. Keith Smith still on pit road as they're pushing his truck back to his pit stall, unable to get his Ford refired in the Kitty Campus machine. They'll have to go to work on that to see if they can get that truck refired. They will not. As a matter of fact, just to the right of your screen, you see The yellow team, they're pushing the truck behind the hauler. It looks like Keith Smith will be the first truck out of the race. An awful tough break for the Kitty Campus Ford. Rookie driver Mike Ellis in the 54. It's a Dodge Ram. He's just been put a lap down. Mike Ellis starting his second race of the year. Matter of fact, finished 10th in his first showing a few weeks ago. See Linwood Mazingo in the yellow truck trying to reel in the lead duo as they work around Scott Johnson once more. He's somewhat off the pace. See Tony Cooper making a run now down up underneath David Clark truck. Clark will use the lap truck of Johnson as a pick, and Tony Cooper will have to settle in further back. Did get touched from behind from Will Smith there, jumping back in line. There's John Jones in the mix as well. All those trucks knotted together. Jones thinks about 3 wide around the lap truck of Scott Johnson. Johnson keeping it down out of the way as the rest of the field now will swing to his outside. John Jones lost some valuable time there. You see the yellow truck pulling back out on the speedways, Keith Smith. So they corrected whatever problem was ailing that Ford, and he's back out on the racetrack. Problems with Wayne Skinner. He gets way loose all the way down to the front side, bottom of the front stretch there, and he'll get back on the hammer. Looks like he might have just got the truck just a bit too loose up off of turn 4 a lap ago. Single file racing, but it's not staying that way. A lot of drivers jumping out, testing the water, seeing exactly what their truck can do and win. As you watch the lead duo, still Mark Howell and Brandon Head up front. Couple of Chevrolet Silverados pacing the way. Here comes Howell up off turn 4. Brandon Head rides his tire tracks back into 1 and 2. Mike Ellis gets the move over flag, is letting him know that the lead trucks are coming up on him, and this group of trucks has been together since the drop of the green flag. Will Smith, they're making contact with Tony Cooper up off the 4th corner. Here comes John Jones once more, goes 3 wide, makes contact with Ellis. Ellis will go spinning down to the inside of turns 1 and 2. John Jones racing with Will Smith for position, Ellis a lap down, and we are going to go under caution. Caution on the speedway for the first time here in the Bud Pro Truck race. Ellis spins to the inside of turns 1 and 2 racing series. Mark Howell, Brandon Head, Linwood Mazingo, Donald Fowler, and David Clark, your top 5 as the green flag goes back in the air. Racing once more here at Southern National. 37 out of 100 laps complete. Will Smith got awful loose up off of the 2nd corner there. Everybody's staying in the right direction. Here goes Linwood Mazingo, takes a peek to the inside of Brandon Head for 2nd. Can't get the running room. Mark Howell scampered away by about 2 truck lengths over the rest of the field. Biggest lead of the race for Mark Howell. Brandon Head has been all over his back tailgate first 38 laps of this one. Good racing further back here in the top 10 positions of this one. That's Donald Fowler, the LBJ Chevrolet, the 21. Wayne Skinner, the Bits, Bytes, and Pieces Ford. Ooh, problems with the race leader, Mark Howell. Up against the outside retaining wall. Looked like he cut down a right front tire. Indeed he did. The right front tire is down on Mark Howell Chevrolet. Tough break for Mark Howell. He shot up the banking as he went into turn 3. Did a great job of keeping that truck off the outside retaining wall. But he'll give up the race lead with a cut right front tire. Tough break for Mark Howell, the race leader. Now the rest of the team will swing around there. They actually have to pick the truck up to get the jack up underneath it. They'll try to get that tire changed as the jack goes up now the right side of the truck, and we're under caution. We'll be back with more after this. Tough break for the race leader at the time, Mark Howell. Just about ready to go back to green flag racing here at Southern National Speedway. Mark Howell had the right front tire changed. He's back on the speedway. Tough break for him as we go back to green. Brandon Head has inherited the race lead. Here goes Linwood Mazingo immediately to the outside lane, trying to make the pass for the race lead, but Brandon Head able to hang on to the top spot. Just behind them, Donald Fowler under attack for position. Here goes Wayne Skinner up underneath Fowler. They're side by side. Ford Chevrolet battle across the stripe. David Clark, Will Smith, Tony Cooper stacked up side by side. You see Smith in the 23, Cooper the 07. Tony Cooper drives it in strong. Will Smith, the 23 truck. Can't do anything with him. He'll fall back in line. John Jones lurking in the shadows behind these two. Brandon Head, the race leader, able to get away by a couple of truck lengths on Linwood Mazingo, who in turn has put some real estate between himself and the new third place runner. That's Wayne Skinner. Donald Fowler slipped back to the 4th position. Field up off turn 4, back to the start-finish line. Good, solid racing here in the Pro Truck Series. You watch Mark Howell there. Gave up the race lead to come in, change the right front tire, gets up underneath Joe Heigl. Performance Auto Body Ford of Joe Heigl, that's the 15 truck. Good racing here. This is 4th on back. Donald Fowler, the 21. David Clark, the 34. Tony Cooper, the 07. Will Smith, the 23. John Jones is in the 5 truck. They exit the corner. Will Smith made some contact with Tony Cooper that time. He does it again. Tears off the right in front of the truck. They made more contact. Tony Cooper hard into the outside retaining wall. Heavy damage to Tony Cooper's machine after contact from behind from Will Smith. Will Smith also has damage to his machine. Tony Cooper we see moving around just a bit inside of his truck. Safety official Buster Casey on the spot, as is Charlie Lamb. Keep in mind Tony Cooper is hearing impaired, so they have to have someone who can do some sign language for them. That's his brother. Tony Cooper, a hard crash up off turn 4. You see the rescue truck just getting there and gives us a chance to, while they attend to Tony Cooper, Charlie Rizzo, man in the flags, who turn around and give a signal, 1 to go. Green flag racing next time by Goldsboro Chrysler Dodge Jeep Intrepid pace car. Lights will go out, signifying to the drivers we're about ready to go back green flag racing. Report on Tony Cooper after the hard crash. He has an injured foot. His right foot has an injury. The significance of it is to be determined. He is being checked out down at the infield care center. So Tony Cooper does have just a bit of an injured foot. Other than that, pretty much banged up from the seat belts holding him in place. Hard crash off turn 4. Will Smith still sits on pit road. He has significant damage to the nose of his truck. He was one of the 5 drivers stuck together in the race for the track championship that was separated by only 8 points. So Will Smith, unless they can get that truck put back together, may have taken a significant blow in his chance for a truck championship this in his rookie season. Nonetheless, green flag's back in the air. Steve Tart, who was off the pace earlier, has gotten that problem corrected. He goes up underneath Mickey Adams. Here comes Mark Howell in the 8 truck. Mark Howell, if you recall, led the first 30 some odd laps of the race before he cut down the right front tire and sent him up against the outside retaining wall. Did an outstanding job of keeping that truck off the wall, and no scratches on the side of his machine. Donald Fowler, the 21, David Clark, the blue 34. There's John Jones sticking the nose of his 5 truck up underneath, trying to pick up a position. Jones a little wiggle up off of the corner. This is 4th, 5th, and 6th on the racetrack. I'm going to call to Donald Fowler. Running at the front of the field, he qualified 5th. He's been up there this entire race to this point. David Clark, the young rookie just behind them, 20-year-old for 34. Field exits turn number 4. Brandon Head up front, Linwood Mazingo second, Wayne Skinner is third. You watch Skinner work the back bumper of Mazingo. Brandon Head took the race lead when Markow had his problem. Don't knock that whatsoever. Brandon Head was right up underneath the rear tailgate of Markow. Those first 42 laps it was. 3 cautions have slowed this 100-lapper to this point. Of course, the first one, Scott Johnson spun down in turns 1 and 2, or rather Mike Ellis, I'm sorry, spun down in turns 1 and 2. After going 3 wide with John Jones and Will Smith. Second caution was from Markow, who cut down the right front tire, nearly collected the outside wall, came to a rest up in turn 4. And of course, the third caution from Tony Cooper's crash up off turn 4, back on lap 47. Everybody keeps them pointed now in the right direction as we work in the middle stages of this race. Huge crowd on hand here at Southern National Speedway, as there is each and every Saturday night. We certainly encourage you to come on out to Southern National Speedway and check it out in person. It's absolutely unbelievable, the show that's put on here at Southern National Speedway. Obviously a huge field of race cars every week in every class. Big crowd, lots of goings on, great stuff for the kids out here as well. Got the Kid Racers Kids Club. It's a free club for the kids to get involved in here at Southern National Speedway. All kinds of stuff they give away, so lots of goings on. Give them a call here at the track at 919-284-1114, or check them out online. One of the top sites that is affiliated with NASCAR, the Southern National site. Of course, that's www.southernnatlspeedway.com. Remember that national is abbreviated, southernnatlspeedway.com. Under green flag run here for the Bud Pro trucks. It's their biggest race of the year. Brandon Head is up front in that red, white, and blue WP Rose Supply Performance East Horton Holmes Chevrolet. That's Wayne Skinner has now made his way up to the second position past Linwood Mazingo, the Bits, Bytes, and Pieces machine. It's a Ford F-150 PLT. Also on the hood of his truck, Linwood Mazingo runs third. That's that yellow truck. Smith Auto Body. Benton & Son Stainless Steel Fabrication Dodge. John Jones is fourth. He was able to squeeze by this group of trucks. David Clark and the 34 truck now getting some heat from behind. Here comes Markow. Howell challenging again for the position. He'll squeeze down to the inside and take that spot away. That is sixth. Running in the 7th spot is now David Clark. Donald Fowler is in the 5th position. These trucks have lost some ground now to John Jones, who runs in the 4th position as they swing around the outside of Steve Tart, put him another lap down. Tart had a problem under the hood of his truck early in the race. He lost some laps. He's back on the track now trying to make those up. Scott Johnson being lapped again as well. David Warren on the speedway just got put a lap down. Eastern Air Conditioning Ford of David Warren, the 81 truck. There's your leader, Brandon Head, across the stripe. Really opening up a gap now on Wayne Skinner. Linwood Mazingo slipped back to third. No doubt tire wear is playing a big issue here. When you run up front, you can run the line you choose to run. Certainly easier on the tires than being knotted together in a crowd of traffic. Here's trouble in turn 2. Keith Smith in the black and yellow Kitty Campus Ford and Mike Ellis. They get together. His Dodge will be refired. Keith Smith keeps his truck under fire, but nonetheless we're under caution for the 4th time. Rejoin you here on Pac-10 TV. I'm Alex Hayden. Bobby Parker, David Kelly, Tim Hayden, all on hand here, bringing you the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. Here's a problem on the back straightaway. 2 trucks get together. Scott Johnson in the 9, Mike Ellis the 54. Ellis able to refire his white Dodge and get away from the sight. Scott Johnson yet to fire his machine. There it goes. Big puff of smoke out of the header pipes, and he'll be ready to pull him back in line now as this Chevrolet will be corrected. So caution flag number 5 on the Speedway. Green flag back in the air, underway. 31 laps to go here in the Budweiser Pro Truck. Biggest race of the season, 100 laps. Brandon Head, Wayne Skinner, Linwood Mazingo, John Jones now up to the 4th position. See some smoke still in the air. Not much of a breeze tonight, very stagnant. Smoke kind of just hanging around as these trucks continue to race. Here comes Mark Howell continuing his charge back to the front of the field after leading the first 40 laps of the race. Then cut down a right front tire. Mark Howell up to the 5th position. Donald Fowler slips one back to 6th. John Jones now beginning to hound the tail end of Linwood Mazingo. Mazingo and Jones, those 2 trucks, 3rd and 4th, are tied for the points lead. So obviously whichever truck of these 2 finishes in front of the other will be the new points leader if they should finish now. Mark Howell, the 8 truck just behind them, is only 2 points up behind these 2 in the points chase. Will Smith was 6 points back, and of course he fell out of the race way back on lap number 47. So Will Smith took a beating in the points tonight. Wayne Skinner 8 points off the pace, and he is sitting in the 2nd position. Of course, the defending series champion, Brandon Head, is the race leader, only running a limited schedule this year. But he's up front here. Chevrolet leads Ford, leads Dodge. That's your top 3. Down the back stretch they go. Look at John Jones again all over the back tailgate of Linwood Mazingo. Here comes Mark Howell. He's in the mix as well, trying to rally his way back to the front of the field. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Mazingo in the yellow truck. John Jones the 5. Mark Howell in the 8. Of course, Mazingo's the 22. Back across the stripe. Closing stages of this 100-lapper, the biggest race of the year for the Bud Pro trucks. An awful lot riding in the balance of this one, including the points championship that will be decided a little later on this season, but as close as they are now in the point standings, every position counts. Here goes David Clark to the inside of Donald Fowler. Clark will squeeze past. David Clark up to the 6th spot. Fowler will fall back to 7th. Mickey Adams is 8th. That other bright yellow truck you just got a glimpse of was Ronald Brown out of Kinston. He runs in the 9th position. Good run for Brown in the 24 truck. He's running a part-time schedule here at Southern National this season as well. Ronald Brown, that is. 2 races out of the 9 he's competed in so far this season. This is race number 3 for him on the schedule. Brandon Head up front. Wayne Skinner is 2nd. Very smooth Brandon Head up off turn 4. Back across the stripe. Are closing in on some back markers. Here's the challenge for 3rd on. John Jones opens up the inside lane on Linwood Mazingo. He'll shoot past on the back straightaway. Here comes Mark Howell. He'll try to follow suit, but Mazingo says no way. Slams the door, and Mazingo will fall quickly in line back to the 4th position. So John Jones able to get in front of Mazingo here in the late stages, and is actually pulling away by a couple of truck lengths. Mazingo looks like he's got a loose race truck on his hands. Tail end wiggles just a bit up off of the corners. Just a handful of laps remaining in this. John Jones up to third. Mazingo trying to hang on to fourth. Marcal runs in the fifth spot. Three turns, 3 and 4, back across the stripe. Brandon Head up front. Wayne Skinner not close enough to make a challenge. They swing around the outside of David Warren. Up off turn number 4. John Jones now will go around the lap truck of Scott Johnson. Mazingo hanging on to the 4th position. Marcal trying to take it away. Change among the top 5 as they continue to circle here in the closing laps of this one. Brandon Head continuing to be the race leader for WP Rose Supply. Horton Holmes, Performance East Chevrolet. To the stripe, there's Brandon Head, the race leader. Turns 1 and 2. That truck handling beautifully. Makes the sprint down the backstretch. Sets up for turn 3. Down to the bottom of the speedway he goes, closing in on Joe Heigel's truck. PLT Construction, bits, bytes, and pieces Ford there of Wayne Skinner having a solid run. He's in the 2nd position. It's like he told us in the pre-race. He said his truck's usually pretty good on the longer runs. Here we are late into this 100-lapper, and he's finding himself in the 2nd position. John Jones running well in the 3rd spot. If the race should end right now, John Jones would be the new point leader over Linwood Mazingo by 2 points. Of course, that's a big if and only if the race ended. Of course, it's not. Brandon Head still up front as he works some lap traffic. Steve Tart, Mike Ellis just in front of Brandon Head now. Head closing in on the back bumper of Steve Tart. A good wrench. Bobby Murray Chevrolet of Tart keeps it down to the inside. Brandon Head will have to work the outside lane if he elects to do so. He's got a large enough advantage now. No need to really take any unnecessary chances with that truck. Ellis swings to the outside lane. Tart keeps his truck down low and lets the leader by. And here comes Brandon Head up off turn number 4. 2 laps to go. 2 to go. To the outside now, Mike Ellis. Steve Tart there in the 57. Into turn 3, very smooth is the race leader, Brandon Head. White flag in the air. Biggest race of the year for Bud Pro Trucks. 4/10 of a mile from coming to an end. Brandon Head put it on the pole. Has led since lap 41, and he'll come up off of turn number 4 and see the checkered flag and win the Budweiser Pro Truck 100-lapper. Congratulations to WP Rose Supply, Performance East, Horton Holmes Chevrolet, and Goldsboro's Brandon Head puts it in the winner's circle. Wayne Skinner, the Wilson driver, will finish 2nd. John Jones, a solid 3rd-place run. And John Jones will be the new points leader at the end of tonight's event. Congratulations again, Brandon Head. And we will get a word with him in just a moment down trackside.
Jumping out of his Chevrolet Silverado in victory lane. Congratulations, you had the truck all day, but after practice, you were shaking your head. You weren't sure what was going to happen tonight.
I was mad again. We just couldn't get a break all year. We won the first one. Don't know why things go the way to go, but His Lord's will, we're back in victory lane again, and just so many people to thank for. You know, we got a shot in the arm this week on a bunch of sponsorship, and it means a lot. There's a lot of people that didn't want to be mentioned, but I appreciate it. And my wife, my family, my brother, Ricky Ensign, all these guys behind me, they ain't quit trying and working hard, and they ain't gave up on me. You know, to win a lot of races last year and to come back this year and just stink. You know, that won't like us. And I worked every night late, all the guys, and we come out here and tested, and we're back.
How were the tires? A lot of guys were pointing the direction of tires this afternoon in practice, saying we've got to make them last. A lot of guys in the field have not run 100 laps in their careers. Of course, you have. How did the tires hold up for you?
Well, our clutch was slipping on the green flag start. I just had to feather into it. That's why our starts were so bad. I was thinking it was going to go out any minute. I appreciate Wayne and all the guys for giving me room, because I was slipping and they were all over me, and I was just doing what it took to stay in front. And I'd like to thank all my sponsors, Quality Homes, Gene Daly, I don't know if you're here, but appreciate it. Timmy Rhodes, WP Road Supply, Kenny Smith, Tropical Pools, A&K Grocery and Grill, Henson Sand and Gravel, Advantage Auto Stores, Performance East, and all these guys. Man, I appreciate it. All of them. I love them all.
You've run 6 races this season. You've been on the pole twice. You've gone to victory lane twice. You did say already at the beginning of the season you were going to run a limited schedule. The reigning truck champion. Are we going to see you more in the Bud Pro trucks this year?
Maybe so. I'm going to run a little bit. I got a couple more things in the works, but it's fun just to win. And, man, I tell you, I was starting to hate myself and didn't know what was going on, but I don't know if it was luck, but I hit on it tonight.
Hey, guys, have a big round of applause. Bud Pro Truck winner Brandon Head puts it in the winner's circle for the second time this season. Try to grab our second-place finisher, Wayne Skinner. Solid run tonight. You worked your way through traffic, but you came up a few laps short.
Yeah, we made an adjustment in practice to loosen it up in practice, thinking that the 40-year tires were going to tighten it back up, but they didn't. It got a little loose there toward the end, and we just had to kind of protect what we had. But we'll come back again next week, and hopefully we'll be up here in this spot.
Chopped off a few more points in the track championship standings. You were only 8 points out, but you gained a few more. Tell us about the drive. A lot of lap traffic out here tonight. How was the truck responding at the high lane, the low lane?
We were real good on the short runs tonight. I needed another caution there toward the end, and I might have had a little something for him, but the longer we ran, the looser it got. And he worked the traffic real well, and I didn't work it quite as good as I should have. I'd like to thank the Lord for a good, safe race. Thank all the sponsors. Thank my family for putting up with us racing. We'll get them again next week.
Wayne Skinner, guys, second place finish, and I think a hint of satisfaction on his face, and he did chop in a couple of more points in the race for the track championship. We'll grab the man who crossed the stripe third tonight, John Jones. A third place run tonight. You had to come from, what, the 8th starting position?
Yeah.
Finished third. Not a bad night all the way around, and now you are the new points leader.
Well, I'm tickled to death to be that for my crew and all my fans, I tell you. We struggled this year. We've had 2 seconds, but I'm hoping that this third here was a more consistent than them 2 seconds was. We come from 8th, had a good, clean race, stayed out of trouble. The truck would turn down on the bottom. We just run out of laps and had too far to come.
This afternoon in practice, you were just shaking your head, man, I don't know what in the world's going on. And then after qualifying, you said, you know what, I think we're consistent, we can run with these guys. Now grade the truck. How'd the truck respond in the race tonight?
The truck was great tonight. We, after qualifying, we should have took gear out, but we knew we had to come from behind, and we didn't. This is a tight field, and we weren't expecting to be able to come through that easy, so we left the gear in it to try to just gain positions. Once we got up here, we didn't have nothing for Brandon or either Wayne Skinner, either one, so we were kind of at our mercy then. But, hey, I want to thank Goldsboro Homes for them. They're up there in turn 3 and 4 rooting for us every week we're here. I want to thank Bobby Denham Furniture out of Mount Olive, North Carolina. I want to thank Budget Rental Car. I want to thank Downs Auto Parts. And what'd you say, Billy? Yeah, he just told us we were leading the part. My crew loves that part, too. But I want to thank